Hello. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing tonight? Cleaning markers all day. So my desk is a mess with lots of marker stuff. So, Enchanting Tale. This is what we have for tonight. But we're going to build a background first, while I let all of you decide which you prefer color tonight. Do you prefer her or him? So it's up to you. I'm going to let you guys choose tonight which character you would like to have colored or would like to see colored. Hey, Beth. So we're either going to do this one or we're going to do this one, but we're going to build a background first, and then I'm going to let you guys choose which one you would rather do. So you just chime in by typing beauty or beast, and then I will know which one you guys want to see colored. So we are going to start by creating a background, and we're going to create the background, hey Meg, with Copics and one of the stamps from the stamp set. So while I am him, if he's in purple, we could make him in purple. Okay, so I already cut them out, so you guys pick which one. Beautiful, beauty, or beast. Beauty or beast. Beauty or beast. You tell me which one you want to see. And I could do him in purple. I could. So while I'm waiting to see what everyone decides, and that may change the color of ink I use. So I'll pull purple out just in case. So I'm going to do the background, yes, in purple. Okay, so beast or beauty? Which one do you want in purple, the girl or the beast? The girl or the boy? So let's start the background. I'm going to use a couple of the yellow, so Y18, 15, 13, and 11, to build a background that we can start with. And I'm going to do it at a diagonal, but it's not going to be like perfect. It's, you know, a background, but we're going to do it ourselves. So we're probably going to get some ink on the desk, and that's okay. We can clean that up before we color. Oops, I want to start with 18. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Copic marker, but instead of using the brush end that we usually use, we're going to use the other end to build our background. So we're going to use the chisel. So I'm going to get started, and I'm going to start somewhere around the middle of the background, and I'm going to go diagonally. So I'm going to put in my first like line for now, and then I'm going to start building this in there. You know what? This is the wrong paper. So I'm going to stop, and I'm going to switch to the correct paper. This is just the inside, what I put on the inside of the card. So that's not a waste. We'll still use it. But let me get the right kind of paper here so that it doesn't suck up all of my ink. We don't want it to suck up all of my ink. And you'll be able to see how much smoother it comes across on here when I have the right paper. So in order to get a fairly smooth background, we're going to have to go over it a couple of times just to get, you know, a good tone on here. So it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to actually blend the two colors, the four colors together to get like a really smooth, pretty background. So this is, I could have done this with oxides, but I find when you stamp over and oxide, it doesn't work quite as well as I think it will if we go over the Copic. So I'm just going to build it using the marker. So this is the darkest color I picked, which was Y18. And then we're going to switch to Y15, which is going to get a little bit lighter than the color we already had. And remember, this is pretty saturated, so it's going to lighten up a little bit. So we're going to add a bit of this color on here. I know this is out of the norm of what I usually do, but why not step out of the box, you know? And usually when you use this end of the marker, you get a lot more coverage and a lot more ink on there. So that's why I chose to use this end of the marker for this project that we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit on each side. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be the focal point of the image. It's just going to be the background. But I want to put a little bit of decoration on the background, and I want to build it myself. And I could have used just the paper pad, but I wanted to play around tonight. So I thought you guys might like to see what I would do. And I'm winging this. I have not done this before, nor have I tried this particular thing. So I'm just kind of winging it tonight for the fun of it. It's all still very, very wet. So just hang in there. It will dry. Hello, Rebecca. You forgot the live was tonight? Well, look at you. You caught on, though. I almost went live on my personal page by mistake. I kept saying, why can't I tag everyone? And then I realized, uh-oh, I'm on the wrong page. So I was a couple minutes late because I was on the wrong page. But it happens. Dale's diligently working out there so I can make an announcement here in just a little bit. So stay tuned. More information to come.
It's updated.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's active?
It's live.
Okay, so let's chat a little bit while I'm doing this crazy coloring. And you guys who are popping in now, be sure to put your vote in there. Do you want to see the beauty colored or the beast? So just chime in and tell me which one. I have them both ready. It's just they'll take a little bit of time to teach while I color, so I'm going to do one and not the other.
And if you pick Belle, then you can see her do the goth version.
No, I'm not doing the goth version tonight because I'm putting it on this card. So you're going to have to show that when you do the live on Thursday. Okay, so what we did today, what Dale did today, was he made the retreat active to purchase via the website. So you can now use whatever form of payment you normally like to use, credit card, whatever. But you can purchase the retreat via the website now. It doesn't have to be by using the email address and then having someone contact you for payment. So we changed that up a little bit to make it easier for you guys. Goth Belle. Yeah, she's coming for sure. He wants to create a card on Thursday because I will be leaving for Arizona on Thursday morning, so I won't be able to do the live on Thursday night. So Dale's going to do the live, but he said I have to color Gothic Belle for him. So he can do a project he has in his brain. Hey, Cheryl. So he's going to do that. So for you guys who are just popping in, we're asking whether you want Belle colored or Beast. So far, Beast is winning tonight. And then also that we updated the website, so you can now purchase the retreat directly from the Doux Designs website. We are going to be posting all of the sponsors here in the next couple of days, but I can throw a few out there. We have Whimsy and La La Land, Sassy Club, Scrappy Boy, and a whole bunch of people supporting the event. So, and it's in Vegas, so who doesn't want to do that? I mean, that's kind of amazing. Okay, look, Beast is winning by far. All right, so that's a good thing. Now, I'm going to go over the center pieces because they're not quite as smooth as I wanted them to be. So I'm going to go over them one more time.
When I first sat down, I thought they were complimenting me because you said I got everything set up, and they're like, oh, he's a beast.
Oh.
I thought they were just complimenting me, not asking for a choice.
They're always complimenting you, Dale. So this takes a lot of ink to do, but it's not as much as it looks like it is. Hee. Is that Meg? No, Meg and Beth and one other person I think said Beast. So, and the other Beth. So I think everybody kind of wants to see Beast, and that's fine because he is a little different than the regular like girls and stuff that we normally do. So you could get some unique lessons out of watching that one. So I can see that being something. I'm trying to do this really fast now that I have the pattern in there, just so I can get them to merge together while they're wet. Hey, Christina. Hello, everybody. I like it when you guys say that. Hello, everybody. Okay, so we're building the background. We're doing this step kind of fast because we want to keep the paper wet. I wanted it to be a yellow background, so I decided to do it with Copics instead of oxides. I mean, why not go off the rails and be a little different? So that was my plan. You could do this in rainbow colors too. It'd be really cool. You just have to make sure that your colors will overlap and blend well together like these ones are.
Beth asked, how did y'all fare Texas, Iowa weather?
Oh, we're iced in, Beth. I'm praying that it's going to be good enough for me to leave on Thursday morning. But we got about 1.5 inches thick of just ice on our driveway and all of our roads. No one in the neighborhoods have moved. So it's not clearing up because nobody's driving on it, which is a good thing. But yeah, we didn't lose electricity, so that's positive. But it's cold as all get out. And I live in Texas, so I don't have to be cold like that. And that is not working out for me. So I am not too awfully happy about that.
Though I did have a bright idea of putting plastic down on half of my driveway. And proved to be the best idea I had for winter.
Okay, so now it's really, really wet. See, very saturated on the back. So I'm going to give it just a little bit of time to dry. This is the little guy that we're going to work on tonight. I'm going to clean off the desk because there's some ink on the desk from... I think I'm probably going to spray this with at the end with some sparkly stuff that's going to look really cool. I have some spray here. Let me see if this is it. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, Meg, it worked. So we had 1 inch of ice on our driveway, so it was easier to break up the ice on the plastic sheet because it's smooth on the bottom, so it couldn't find any purchase on the concrete, so it broke up easily. Then I would just lift the plastic sheet up and move it off the driveway, and then just keep on working down the line.
And Christina, you're trying to move your daughter closer to us? Woohoo! Oh no. And your truck got stuck. Oh no. That's unfortunate. I saw some of that happening on the news.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
this is Enchanting Tale. We're going to use this spray at the end. It's called Ice. It's perfect for the holidays. So, yippee. Not holidays, but the weather. You know what I mean. Anyway, this is drying really nicely. It's still pretty wet, but it's getting there. It's going to make me happy. And then see these books? We're going to stamp these books on all over the background to give us our designed background. We are going to do him, but we are going to do him in purple because that was the request from earlier was, can we do him in purple? And we can, so we're going to. I'm trying to decide right now what colors I want to use for him. So on the packaging, I think I went a little bit more on the reddish side. So I'm trying to think of, I'd probably do a little bit different. Maybe a little bit more on the brownish side. I hate to use, well, we'll just get started and we'll see what happens, but I hate to use brown, like a dark brown. So I think I'm going to go with the E30s family, E39, 37, 35, 33, and we'll add to it if we need to or change it up as we go. But I like to do, I'm going to do his face first, and then I'm going to do his hair and his hands and stuff to match. But I like to do his face a little bit lighter. Last snowstorm, we had 8 inches of snow. We didn't even get snow. We got what looks like snow, but it's really ice. So to start him out, I'm going to use E00. Like on regular people, we use E000, but I'm going to go a little bit darker. And I'm just going to put a base coat on his face. So he's going to look very like human-like at the moment, but it won't look like that when we get done. And we're only going to go to about halfway down his face. We're not going to do this bottom part because it's all going to be fur, but he is going to have a bit of facial look to him, if that makes sense. Hey, Phyllis. So here we go. We're going to get rolling. He's going to be easier to color than you think he is. You could do him however you want. There are so many options for how to do this. But tonight, we're just going to work on doing him in one certain way, but we could do a bunch of other ways. Cheaper than a tarp.
Yeah, Beth said to use a tarp.
Haley had to use a tarp for her chickens. Haley's my daughter. They have chickens, and they had to put tarps all around the chicken coop so that they didn't end up losing any chickens. And the chickens are doing good if they're blocking the wind. No chickens lost yet. But a lot of us are stuck where we're at because they're working on the roads, but only where people are traveling and not
residential.
Not the residential area. For those of you who don't know, Phyllis is Dale's mom, and she was the one who was hanging out with us in my craft room for a little while, a little bit in November. Okay, we're going to use, so we used E39 for our shadow, and now we're going to use E37. But it's still pretty dark, so we're not going to use a whole lot. We're just going to use a little bit. just to kind of start building a bit around his face. And then if you noticed, I did his nose as well. You're stuck by choice. It's too cold for you. It's too cold for me. I hear you. I am so with you on that. E35. This one's going to get significantly lighter as we go down, but it's also not really skin tone-ish color, if you will. And I want him to look a little bit skin tone-ish. So I have to choose my colors wisely. Otherwise, he'll be too dark for what I want to do. So while we're going to add some of this, just stay tuned. I'm going to have to add a little bit in there that will have a skin tone-ish look to it. So if you'll notice, I'm going around where the fur is, like right here. We'll wash in a few more of the colors, the hair colors, so that they'll line up nicely with the face. I want to go home. I'm hoping tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm not getting my craft roulette card done. Ah! I did my craft roulette card during craft roulette this time. You have no supplies. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I did my craft roulette while I was watching craft roulette this time. I don't do that very often, but it just was striking me what I was going to do, so I just rolled with it. So I'm starting to build up a little bit of darkness around the bottom of his, right on his mouth, just so it'll look like it's sticking out a little bit. This is my craft roulette card. See my little dude on a chicken. He's on a wobble. He's wobbling. The craft roulette was fun this time. I really liked it. I really liked the challenge.
Well, at least the one good thing about being stuck in the house all weekend long is we were able to pretty much finish up, what is it, February's release?
Yep, February's release. Now, E33 was going to be the next color I was going to do, and I'm thinking I want at least one more because I have a whole bunch of space in here, so I'm going to try this E21. I think that's still a little bit too light for what I'm doing, so let's try E13.
Christina's been up here since Thursday. Was hoping to get home
Saturday. Yeah, it didn't happen. Yeah, Minecraft. That was Minecraft on the chicken. Yes, it was. You like it? I like it too. It's a Minecraft set from the Sassy Club. Because my grandson loves Minecraft. So I'm using E13 before I use E33. This one has a little bit of that pinkish tone, which will kind of bring in that feel of skin tone. And then I'm blending some of the areas like pretty lightly. I'm being very careful so that I don't wash out any of the other colors, and so I get a really nice look on this. This could also be a darker skin tone for a regular person. This could be a really good color for that. Darken that up just a little bit right there. I'm going to add just a little bit in this down here because it's just so non-skin tone looking. And right here. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of blushy color for the cheeks, just so that we get a little bit of color in the cheeks. So I'm going to use R11. It's not going to be a whole lot because I don't I really don't want to make him look like he has makeup on. But I want enough in there that it just gives a real light shade to that. We're going to use E33 if he's looking for some. We're going to start with E33 to finish it up. But if this tones down the skin tone look too much, then we might have to add another color. It's this E33 is a little bit dark, so I'll probably come in with the base coat at the end and do some highlight work with that. But I'm liking the shade I'm getting with these colors. So if you guys want me to recap these colors real quick so you know what colors I use, because this tone turned out super nice.
Mom said hi.
Huh?
Your mom said hi.
Hey, Mom. So, yeah, there we go. Very nice. I think the skin is really good. I like it a lot. I am going to come in at the end with the E00 just to soften a little bit around the cheeks. You don't want to do too much with this marker because it'll wash out the color and you could get like a bumpy look because it'll move the ink around and make it look a little bit funny. So you want to make sure that you be a little bit careful with how much you use and where you use it. But for now, I really like that. Thank you. I like it. I'm really happy with it. We're going to make his hair, his fur hair, way more brown than what you've seen in the past. Now, inside his ears, I'm going to go ahead and do that part just because we need to use these same colors for that. So instead of doing 39, I'm going to start with 37. And I'm just going to add for the inside just right here around the top with this really dark color. And then I'm going to come in with E13. I was cleaning my markers. I didn't get to that 37 yet, so it's the cap's a little dirty. I'm going to soften this little edge up here and go around the bottom. I am going to keep the ears light like his face. So I'm going to be really cautious with that. And then I'm going to add this pink, which I'm okay with his ears being a little more pink than his face. So I started on the bottom where the white part was and worked my way up into the color, and that gives me a little bit more of a pink tone for his ears. I like that. That makes me happy. Now, that recap was E39, E37, E35, E13, R11 for the cheeks, and E33 was the last color I used. And I also capped it off with E00, which was the base coat. So there were quite a few colors in there, but if you didn't catch those, watch the YouTube. I put all the details of that on the YouTube channel. So you should be able to see it there. Now, for the hair and the fur and the hands and the feet, I'm going to use a darker color. So I'm going to bring in E49, E29, and possibly E27. And then I'm going to mix with these colors I did with his face so that they all blend nicely together. The E49 is the darkest one. That's the one that I want to do all my shadowing with to get a real dark look in there. So I'm going to start right here, not because I need to, but just for the heck of it. This is just where it struck my fancy. And you're going to see that I'll put a little bit of like building a little fence there, and then I'm going to do these strands off of it, because I want all of this to look like fur. So a couple of tips, because you know I like to give you tips when we're doing these, is if you hold your marker upright like I am, and you can't get these teeny tiny brush strokes, it is one of two things. One, either you need to continue to practice and work on holding your marker upright to get those teeny tiny strokes, or your nib is broken down and flimsy, and that causes you to not be able to get as sharp and crisp of a brush stroke.
Or you're heavy-handed.
Well, heavy-handed, that goes with practice. I was a very heavy-handed person, so in the beginning. So you can definitely get past being heavy-handed with practice. I used to be a very heavy-handed person. The brush strokes were, I would say, close to one of the hardest things for me to work on when I first learned to color. But you'll be able to do it. If I could do it, you could do it. Dale, grab that. See that little binder over there on the bookcase, the one that's miniature binder? If you could grab that for me. It's by the Hannah Lynn coloring books. I'm about to show you guys some of the first colorings I ever did, if
Yes.
that is the book that I need. That's it. So when I first started coloring, I wanted to track my journey. I wanted to be able to see like improvements, and I was so proud that I had gone to a class and learned a couple of techniques, and so I started keeping a book that showed progress. And I have some of the first things I ever colored.
Christina's heading out.
Bye, Christina. Stay safe and warm. Oh, I'm praying you don't get stuck. So those of you who think that starting out and coloring when you first start out, that some of us are like really good. That was one of the first things I colored. It was Stampin' Up. There's no hair. This was me trying to practice a frog. These are some of these are not very good. But this is where I told myself practice, practice, practice. And then here are some other ones that I was practicing with to learn. And then it just goes up from there. Then I took this class, and here's all the instructions. And then there's the one that I colored. So a class helps. And then these were classes I took and notes and all that, all about hair. And then I did this one, and I was super proud of that. And then I did these, and I kept this book with those basic things in there so I could show you guys that my art looks just like a beginner, just like everyone else's. When I first started coloring, I had to learn just like you guys do. So if I can do it, you can do it. I promise you can do it. You just need a really good teacher and somebody to show you what to do and how to do it. And sometimes it's easier to learn if someone teaches you the process and not just how to color one image, because then that's what I ran into, and I had this struggle of trying to figure out how do I make that work with something else. Yes, practice makes progress. So if you just follow or copy what someone else does, it doesn't teach you anything. So while I want you to practice and you can use my techniques. You only do that until you have figured out what you like, and then you build your coloring based on what you like. Make any adjustments, changes, things you like, don't like. What one person does might not work for you, so don't learn from just one person. Go to several different things to learn, and practice, practice, practice. So I'm putting these shadow areas in very small places, so I'm being extra careful. But now we have the basis of our little guy here. So he's already looking like he's very chic, don't you think? I like the dark color. That E49 is my favorite when I'm doing dark brown hair because it gives that wow factor. Okay, E29 is also dark, so while we're going to add some of this E29, we're just going to add small amounts here and there because it's a little more of a red brown than that deep dark brown we have on there. So we're just adding a little bit in there, different areas. So it just practice, practice, practice. Now this part right here, I'm going to want this to curve. So I'm going to be a little bit cautious on how I do that. I'm going to keep turning the paper so the direction of the hair kind of follows the direction. The front of the hair follows the back, so it all matches up. And that is key when you're trying to do hair. If you do some this way and some this way, it's not going to look natural. So you have got to really work around the picture or the image that you're working with. So again, these are practice. You could use a regular piece of paper and just practice brush strokes in different directions to learn how to do that. I look at my old scrapbooks and it got better over your years. It's a beautiful growth chart. Yes, Beth, that is true. I think I have 36 scrapbooks that I did, and if you look at the beginning ones, I can definitely see a difference. For sure. I want to do a scrapbook of the images that I have created over the years, but I just haven't taken the time to do that. But I thought a journey of the different artwork that I did would be a lot of fun, but I haven't done that yet, but I do want to do that at some point. Okay, so now we have this color. I think we need just a teeny bit more, like right here. And now I'm going to go and just extend on the ear a little bit and do the underside right there, just so we can keep these ears blending in with the hair. And then I'm going to do the underside of his eyebrow. So it's just a skinny, skinny line. This does have a new nib on it, so it's very stiff and works super great. All right, now we're gonna switch to, let's see if we wanna go to, let's see how dark E39 is. E39 might be a great color to go to next. It has a little bit of red, it's a little bit lighter, and it will match our skin tone. So we're gonna switch to E39 and we're gonna do the same thing, just building more brush strokes, trying to put them somewhat in between the other ones, but that's kind of hard to do exactly. So just do the best you can by rotating your image. When I watch people who stick their image down, I don't know how they do that. They are really talented if they can color in the different directions without switching the paper, because I know I don't do that well. So on this one around the face with this color, I'm going to start making sure that there's a solid line around the face in this color, so you can start seeing that dimension of thickness right there around his face. And then we'll just add a few of these in the other areas, just for consistency. Let's do this side next. We'll do a little bit on his ear. Making sure we have his face, around his face covered in. I'm going to start doing a little bit more up here. It doesn't have to be perfect where your cutoff is. Right now it looks a little funny, but we'll be using like the skin tone colors to get the two areas to blend together. You'll see if you stick around. There we go. So we're starting to get that color that we're looking for. And now I'm going to put a few of these little strands on his eyebrows as well, because I want them to look like furry eyebrows. We need a little bit in the ears, so I'm just going to go around the inside of the ear. Just like that. And then I'm going to come down here and start building off of these little furry hands and feet down here. I know we skipped the last color and I'm okay with that, because I don't want them to be quite as dark as the hair on his head. But I am going to put the dark around his little claws and stuff. A little bit down here at the bottom, around the claws. There we go. Now we're going to switch to the next color, which I'm going to go to E37. This one's going to be, E37 is kind of close to the last color, so it should keep this fairly dark. I'm going to do it this way because for some reason, sometimes I can go in both directions and sometimes I can't. Tonight doesn't seem to be that kind of a night for me. Sometimes I can go this way or this way, but sometimes I can't. So sometimes you'll have really good days and you'll think, oh, I love the way these came out. And some days you'll color and nothing looks right to you. So don't get frustrated on those days. Everybody has them. I'm going to start building in some of this color in here. It looks really great, but I know that chin looks kind of funny right now, so don't judge it yet. Most of this color in his eyebrow. There we go. We're going to do a little bit on these areas down here, still leaving a little bit of space for our other color we're going to use. These little furry feet. I originally wanted to put shoes on him since he was in a nice, like a really nice dressy outfit. Yes, be safe, Christina, but Dale wanted him to have furry feet, so I switched it up. Okay, I really want to use E23, but I don't know if E23 is behaving. I didn't have a chance to refill E23. Yeah, it seems to be okay, so we'll do that one. We'll do E23. E23 is what we're going to use to finish this part. So I'm going to go from the outside now in towards that center, still keeping that angle that we talked about, but using more the side of my marker so I can fill in those spaces without actually blending. Because I don't really want to blend this. I want to be able to see all those lines so you can see all that hair. We're going to do around his ear to finish that part off on both sides. And then I'm going to go from the outside of all these fur in towards the inside. All this fur area. until I get to the beard. And then we're going to do the beard a little bit different. So just bear with me. I'm going to finish the eyebrows. And then I'm going to come around this part of his beard, and I'm going to do this kind of in a little bit of a stipling kind of look to fill that in, so that I don't have all these different spaces that looks like my hair doesn't make sense. I'm going to do those. That's going to sort of...
Beth said, don't hate me. I see Teen Wolf with the band music stamp set from the dance scene in the movie. I'm weird.
I know. I could totally see that. I can totally see Teen Wolf. As soon as you said it and I looked up at it, I was like, oh, I could totally see that for sure. My marker, this marker is a little sticky because it needs a new nib and it needs to be refilled. So, that's why I didn't really want to use it. It's up at the top of my desk in the stack of fixing the markers. Because this one is ooey gooey in the lid and very sticky, and the caps are hard to get on and off. And I'll put that back up there. Oh, I better turn it so I know to write it on the list. So you can see a bit of that stickiness on there. So I like to touch it with my fingers first to take any thickness of that sticky off. And then I'm going to use that eraser like we talked about the other night. So this is the High Polymer Eraser by Pentel. It's very cheap, but it takes the shine off. So I'm going to just do over the areas that had some thick shine to them. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say this was a complete fix. Like, I wouldn't do this every single time I colored, but if it happens to where you see it sticky and you have that shiny, you can do this, but make sure you clean your marker so you don't have to do it the next time. This works better if you haven't already cut your little guy out. Let me wipe all that junk off my desk. And let me fold him to put him back in shape. Oh, he does look like Teen Wolf. Look. I seen Teen Wolf. Yeah. I liked Teen Wolf. I thought that was a funny movie. All right. There we go. All right. So he's back on track. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to include some yellow because we have this yellow background we're going to do, which by the way is drying very nicely and looking really nice. But I have a big light spot right here where I missed. See how this one's all smooth? And this, I have this one white light spot up here in the top. That's okay. We're going to do something fun with that just because we can. Okay. Now we got to do his outfit. So I want to give him some yellow to tie him into this. So I'm going to use the same yellow I used for the background.
A yellow cravat.
Huh?
Yellow tie.
I was going to give him a yellow vest. But you want me to give him a yellow tie?
Well, what were you going to do the jacket in?
Purple. They want purple.
Then a yellow
Okay, I'm
tie
not.
with a purple
Nope.
vest would be fine.
No. Nope. His coat's going to be purple. So his vest is going to be yellow.
So he's going to be a Teen Wolf pimp.
Yeah. Smarty pants. All right. And then I want to put a little bit of yellow down the side here so it looks like he has a stripe on his pants. But I don't want to put it over here. This is not to signify another stripe because that would be on the wrong side of his pants. So don't do that. I'm going to put them around his wrist, yellow. And then I think I'm going to make the lapel yellow as well. So I'm going to put this dark right around this outside where I've signified that there's a fold there. No worries about a thing. I don't know what color I'm going to do his tie. Maybe I'll just do his scarf in a lighter yellow. I don't know. We'll see. This is how I go. I just pick something and I start coloring it. And as I'm doing it, I just hope that it will come to me which color I'm going to use next. But sometimes I sit there for a while contemplating. I think color choice is one of the hardest things in coloring. I don't have a problem choosing a color if I know I'm choosing a marker with the color I need. But sometimes I can't decide if I want to use purple or green or yellow or blue. There we go. I like it so far. And honestly, when you're coloring, don't judge it. Even if you don't like it. Like, I wasn't crazy about his beard until I got done. And then I was like, oh, I kind of like that. So don't judge yourself too hard. Now, this is Y13. And I am going to finish all of these yellows with Y13. And I'm also going to use Y13 as my shadow color on this tie, scarf, whatever you want to call this part right here. So it'll be yellow, but it'll just be lighter than the other yellow. So we'll have two different shades of yellow in our image. So that's almost a golden yellow. And it's pretty. I like it. So I think the longest part about coloring this image is the hair. The hair takes a while. What's the ascot? Tell me. You have me at a have me at a loss with that word. Okay, here is Y11. That's the one we're going to finish off this part with. Oh, what? Is that what this is called? It just hit me that you were probably telling me what this was called. There we go. Now we have our yellows in there. Now we're going to do purple. And for purple, I'm going to choose, yes, his neck scarf. I got you, Meg. It took me a second, but I caught up. I want a true, like, really bold purple. But I want it darker on his pants and lighter on his jacket. So I'm going to try a couple of colors here. I want to leave out V15, V12, and V06 I usually use in my colors because I don't want to go into the pink purple. I want to stick with purple. So that was VV08. This is V09. So while they're different shades of purple, probably V09 goes first, then VV08, and then V17 will go really well with that one. So that's VV08, V17, and then let's see, what other color do I want to use with V to go around V17? I don't want to go into the pink mode, so I have to be really careful switching. I think maybe let's try BB 17 and 13 just to see what colors they are. This is 17. That's not too bad. And this is BV 13. See, that kind of goes out of the color family that I'm trying to stick into. Let's see what BV 11 is. See, that's back to the purple I need. So I need one. I wonder how well these will go together. Let's see. B17. We may have to do tip to tip to get between these two colors. But I like those two together. I just need one shade in between those. So I'm going to try one other marker. And if that doesn't work, then... Oh, there we go. I think that's a good one. So that's V25. So here we go. You could do yellow on the inside of his jacket at the bottom. Oh, yes. I need to do yellow on the inside part of his jacket. You are correct. Thank you for catching that. So we're going to do these colors for our purple. I know they look strange and outside the box, but this is what we're going to do. V09, BV08, V17, V25, and BV11. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and do Y18. And this is what Meg was talking about, if you didn't pick up on what she was saying. This is the inside of his jacket, which is what's folded over and showing on the front. So we have to do that underside in that yellow color. And I want it to be darker because it's all in shadow. So I'm only using the first two yellow colors. So 18 and 15. There we go. Very good catch, Meg. All right. So I want his pants to be really dark. So I'm going to try to stick with the first 3 to 4 markers. And then his jacket will be the last of the marker set. What I mean by that is I have 5 colors here. So when I do his pants, I want his pants to be these 3 with that one if needed. And then when I do his jacket, I'm going to skip this one and I'm going to do these 4. Hi, Shalana. That way I'm using the same colors, but I'm going to get a different shade of those colors on the top and the bottom. And then for this inside piece right here, I'm going to use these 2. Just the last 2. So we're going to use the same 5 colors, but we're going to have different colors in all the areas. So we're going to put this one first. Right up here. And it's going to look a little bit on the gray side right at first. And then this one will bring it back to more purple. But it'll be more of a dull, soft purple. So it'll still stay lighter than the rest of it. So that's a really, really light, pale purple. Now let's do the pants so you can see. At the bottom, we could put yellow on those to match the wrists, but I'm not feeling that. I feel like I have enough yellow on there right now, so I'm just going to make those this really dark purple. So just at the bottom, we're just going to put that really dark purple. And then we're going to use this V09. We're going to do our shadow areas. So right up here where his vest covers his pants. And then over here where his jacket covers as well. I also think it'll stand out, this yellow will stand out a little more if I go along that yellow with this purple. Just to get that really dark. Let the purple rain. Whew, I'm back. Yay! I'm so glad you made it home. Safe. Back to the house safe. Okay, I'm going to go along here and just put this dark color because that's all shadow there. think I'm going to do it a little bit right here too. Okay, now we're going to switch to the next color, which is going to be that BV08. Now, BV08 is going to be our second color on the bottom, but our first color on the top. So I'm going to start using this one, extending from where I put that original purple color. I'm going to go a little bit down his leg, this bottom part, a little bit down here. We're going to extend out a little bit here so we can start building that in. Now for the top part, since we already have our marker open, we might as well keep going. So I'm going to put some shadows right along this fold, right along this jacket part, all up here where his hair is. And then I'm going to go right here underneath that lapel as well. And on this side, right here, and up by his hair. Remember, we're just using a little bit because this is our shadow color. Since his arm is behind his back, we're going to put some up against there. This is his fold area here. I'm going to do a little bit along here and kind of into the waist so we can make the waist look a little bit curved on him. Normally we do that with girls, but whatever. He can look all sexy in his little clothes. Oh, and we need just a little bit down here at the base of this. Right down there. I'm going to do the same thing on that side. I'm sorry, one more place. Right here along this gold. And here as well. There we go. Now we're going to move on to our third color, which is V17. Now, we said we were only going to use 3 or 4 for the pants, so let's see how well these colors pull together here. This might be the end of the one I want to use on the pants. Yep. So I'm just going to fill in the rest of his pants with this shade of purple. I want to keep it dark. So I kind of like that color. So I'm going to stick with that. Just going to do the whole thing in that color. We still have shadow areas. We still have lighter areas based on the way that we colored. Ooh, we need to cover this. His legs still look lighter. It still looks better. I like it. So moving on. We're going to extend from where we put this dark color, but we're not going to put as much of this marker in there. Because we're going to use the lighter colors on the top. So we're just going to start building this color in there. Keeping up with that little waist over there. Getting this little thin waist there. Because, I mean, technically he's like a man and a beast. So we'll keep him a little bit of a manly shape. Then up from his wrist, a little bit down from this collar, and there we go. Now, we're going to move into the next color. This is V25. I'm going to fill in over here. I'm going to finish in this part since it's kind of all in shadow with the V25. But in seeing that, it looks to me like I'm going to need a little bit of that BV11 to bring that brighter purple back in. So I am going to leave spots for the highlight color. The last color. So we're going to start filling in some of this, but leaving open space for the last color. Basically, the point is keeping this purple, but also different colors of purple. Even though we're using the same markers, I'm kind of showing you how you can get different looks with the same 5 markers. just use half of them for one and the other half for the other. If you're following me, that will make complete sense. If you're not, you'll probably be confused. All right, last one is BV11. And you know, if we want a little bit of that, see how there's like almost a reddish purple and this one is not doing that? Then we could add a little bit of this V12. So V12 has a bit of a pink. See how it's like a pinkish color? So I'm just going to leave this out for us to pick up just a little bit of that and kind of mix it with my color. Just maybe I don't. Usually you should do the lighter color onto the darker color. So what I'm going to do is just add a teeny bit of this in my areas to get that purple back. Do you see how that brought the purple back? So what we're going to do is we're just going to put this color in here so we have it as an underpainted color. So you'll be able to see it when we finish instead of doing the tip to tip, because that one's much lighter and I don't want it that purple. So I'm going to go in now and I'm going to put this BV11 over top of that pinky color so it's not pink, it's purple. And that'll bring a little bit of that color back into it so it matches the pants a little bit better. So you don't ever have to say, oh, that's not the color I wanted, or you can add other colors to it to get what you were truly trying to make. This is color blending at its best. We'll let that dry just a little bit, and then I'm going to put a tad bit more on there to deepen the color. So I'm going to only use this BV11 again, but I'm going to do his claws first. I'm going to go back to the colors that we used when on his skin, and I'm going to start with E33, and I'm going to put that as my dark color on those claws he has down here, just at the top. And then I want to keep them rather light, but I don't want to introduce any more colors. I want to stick with the low number of colors I have. So I'm going to use E00 and I'm going to drag that E33 down with the E00 to give this a very bone-ish look for his claws. Now you can make them really dark, but I kind of like them light like that. It's just enough. And that gave us time for the jacket to dry, for us to put one more coat over it and just darken the color a tad bit. So you'll see how that darkens it just a little bit more. Just putting a light coat right over top all of it. Just one more coat. This will just make the color one shade darker and get me exactly where I wanted to be with that purple color. And I'm very happy with that. That is exactly what I wanted. Now, while we're at it, let's do the eyes, and we're going to do them purple as well. So I'm going to start with BV08. I'm going to put that at the top of his eyes. It's very, very dark, so it's not going to really look purple right now in that little bit of area. And then I'm going to jump to a much lighter color. I'm going to jump all the way to V17 and just extend. Still a pretty dark color. And then I'm going to jump and use this V12 that we used to underpaint that. And I'm going to go over the last color I put on there and kind of go back and forth to blend those together. So now we're going to have this really pretty purple eyes. Do you see those purple eyes? I'm just going to blend these together and go back and forth until I lighten it up a little bit and get that really pretty purple color. So see how his eyes now match his outfits. Doesn't he look handsome?
Big pimpin'.
Yeah, he's looking nice. Okay. So you guys know what's next. If you're watching me all the time, you know exactly what's next. You could probably guess. I'm going to grab my multi-liner so I can make the eye darker, because I just don't think the Memento darkens the eyes enough for me, so that makes his eyes stand out just a little bit more. I really like that, so I make sure I do that every time. And then white gel pen will come at the end. I'm not going to use that right now, but I will be using it at the end if I can find it. I don't even know where my... Oh, there it is. I see it. You love him? Yay! Okay, back to our background. Let's talk about our background. So this is going to work out really good for him. So since we use purple, we're going to use Purple VersaFine Clair color. And we're going to use our books. And I'm just going to stamp it all over the background. And some will be off the page, some will not. I'm not going to color them. I'm just going to stamp them, and they are in purple. So that purple will tie in. Ooh, I'm glad I didn't drop that. Ooh, I did drop it on my thing. Don't you hate it when that happens? No worries. We'll round the edges and we'll be fine. Where is my water bottle? I need to clean that up real quick, and that's what I get for trying to rush. Okay, back to it. This time I will hold the ink pad so I don't have that issue again. Gotta be careful. That table is now wet. This table is wet. I didn't dry it off good enough. There we go. All right, books over here. And here. Some on, some off, just randomly on there. Look at me stamping that without messing it up. I can't believe it. Now watch, I'll mess up the last one. Okay, I need a little bit right here in this corner. And then I need a little bit down here where I have the boo-boo. Not a la boo-boo, just a boo-boo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put the stamp so that a line of the book goes over where I messed up. And hopefully that will fix it just a little bit. Now you're not even going to be able to tell I messed up. See, you can always fix it. You just got to be creative. Come up with a creative way to fix it. Clean off that and off my desk. Then dry it off. And look at that really cool background. Isn't that cool? And super simple. You could stamp them and color them, but you can also use these smaller elements for background stuff. Like, look at how cool this looks. You know he loves his books. All right, hang 10. I got to pull a background paper, and if I have purple, I want to go with that. Oh, I think I do. This is the cardstock that I have. And let's see, what else do I need? Let's pull the pattern paper out that goes with this, because maybe we could find a really good, I think I know. Is the red gonna look good with it? Let's see if we went this way. I'll cut it down, but
Now he's got his 50 Shades of Grey going on for Valentine's Day.
oh, he could be. Let's do him for Valentine's. Whoop, whoop. Wait, I have a smaller one. These are just the extra pieces I had from... Here's a smaller piece. I might like this one better. I mean, I saved these pieces because, hey, this paper is super cool. Oh, I got a really good idea. It just popped in my head. Okay, so we're going to use that. You love this stamp? Yay! Me too. I love these stamps. They're so much fun. And then I'm going to pull out this stamp set, which is our special occasions because it has Happy Valentine's Day. So, I'm looking at the sentiments on here. I could stamp, I think I'm going to use this one. Hold on. I think this one right here that says, True Love Never Ends. And I think it'll fit right here. And it'll give us a little bit of decoration at the bottom of our card. And then we'll put Happy Valentine's Day, True Love Never Ends at the bottom. I think that will be perfect. All right, hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I think I'm going to have to cut that down. Oh, no, I don't. Yay! It fits perfectly. Okay, we got to stamp this at the bottom. Be still. I'm going to take this off. Let's stick this one on. I'm going to use that same purple ink pad because why not, right? I love this ink block. I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's from the Sassy Club. I love, love, love it. Ta-da! True love never ends. How sweet is that? Oh, Dale, you're going to see your Valentine's Day card while you're sitting here. Because I think I'm just going to give this one to you. Okay, Happy Valentine's Day. I need to pull my little letters off. How awesome is this? And then I'm going to use it for Father's Day, and I'm going to use it for Mother's Day, and I'm going to have one set that takes care of all that business for me. All right, I think what I want is I'm going to need a paper right here that says Happy Valentine's Day, because I don't want to stamp over the books. I'll let you watch what I'm doing. I'm lining up the words, so I only have to stamp them once. Yes, I'm eyeballing it. But you guys know I like to do that. Hey, come here, Day. I think I like it right there. Awesome, awesome. All right, we're definitely going to use this purple. I'm probably going to use it on white, but I want to spray this with some bling bling because, you know, it's fun that way. So I'm going to grab my box that I use to spray so you guys can watch me do it. Remember I said I was going to put some ice on it? That's this thing right here. This is Art Anthology ice. It's just a shimmery spray, and I'm just shaking it off camera where you can't see it. And then I'm just going to squirt this on there. Now, that is oxide ink, so it might bubble up and change the...
It's copic ink.
Oh, it is Copic ink. You're right. It's not oxide. So yay, it's not going to mess up anything. Okay, I know it's laying a little funny. If you want to fix it when it lays like that because the paper got wet, you can use your heat tool, which I'm going to use. So if you don't want to hear it, plug your ears. And when I turn it back off, I'll put my thumbs up. So ready, set, go. Lay flat. I turned it off. Okay. So now we have these books with a very subtle amount of, see the shimmer on it? It makes the books look shiny. I like it. All right, I'm just going to fold it and bend it a little bit so it kind of goes back to whatever shape it was before. It'll be fine when I glue it on my page. All right, and then I'm going to use a white cardstock, but not the one that we colored on earlier because that has to go on the inside. But I will grab a new one. And we're going to do it in purple because we love purple. Let's look at it. I think this day is a little bit crooked. I'm going to fix it like this. Aha. There we go. Now they work. I'm going to stamp it on a white piece of paper and I'll just cut it out. I'm bummed I'm missing her live. I'm going to South Lake Tahoe for my hubby's birthday celebration. Oh, I got Lake Tahoe is nice. All right, yay! You can watch the replay. There we go. I got stuck in Lake Tahoe a couple years ago on my way to was it Ontario or
no? Sacramento.
Was it Sacramento?
Yeah.
When I was headed to the expo at Sacramento, I got stuck in Lake Tahoe for the night. Snowed in.
Pleasantville.
Oh, Pleasanton. I was going to Pleasanton. I didn't think that sounded right. It wasn't Sacramento. It was Pleasanton. Okay. So let's look at this and let's go ahead and tape this down so it can stop rolling. By the way, in case you didn't know, we still have our glue pins in the shop. So why is this misbehaving? So if you need one, you can get it in the shop. As you can see, it helped with the glue, so you don't have to worry about it. Do I have a chunk in there? I know I left this glue open for 2-3 days. So it's not very happy with me right now for leaving it open for so long. But it doesn't take much to, there's the thick part that's messed up. Whenever it has a dried chunk of it in there, it'll come out in a chunk. And then I just scrape it off and throw it away. And then it'll flow way easier. It does that if you leave your glue open for days on end. I hate when I do that, but I do it all the time. At least it doesn't ruin the glue though. So I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to use my favorite tool, which is this one. And this is where I'm going to get it to lay flat again onto my card. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to put this one. Oh, I had 2 pieces of paper there. And now I'm going to put this one in there. I didn't even know I had 2 pieces of paper. I was trying to color 2 pieces of paper at the same time. Crazy person. There we go. We have to have a card on the inside because not everyone has colored pens that they can write on colored paper. This one is just going to go to Dale, probably. So it doesn't really matter that it has white because I have colored pens. But I like to make sure. Flipping it over did put a little bit of glitter on here. So I'll have a little bit of glitter on, shimmery glitter on the back too. But I'm okay with that because I think that's cool. All right. Now I'm going to put this little piece of scrap paper that almost went in the trash at one point, but I saved it anyway. And look at, now I don't have to waste a whole nother sheet of paper to add this cute little bit of rose on here. I'm going to flip it over, rub it that way so I don't mess up the lining of it. And then I'm going to put this really cute, well, I should probably cut my sentiment and make sure it fits over there before I decide where I'm going to put him. And I'm going to cut my sentiment out myself because I don't mind doing that. And I could do it pretty quick. No one's really going to know how a die is going to cut, so I just cut it out however I want. Sometimes I cut one word at a time. Sometimes I cut, hold on, let me get this a little smaller so I can see what I'm doing. Sometimes I cut out one word at a time. Sometimes I cut out the whole phrase. Sometimes I do it square. Sometimes I do it rounded. But nobody really knows which way it, like, whether I cut it myself or a die cut it that way. I mean, no one's ever going to know. So I kind of like it like this. I'm going to put him over here a little bit more. Move this up so it covers spaces that don't have the books on it. He's so cute. I think it needs a little bit of color on it though. So I happen to have my yellow oxide brush here. So I'm just going to yellow the edges just a little bit so it blends nicely with the background. I have my oxides handy all the time, so I'm just going to add a teeny bit. I didn't dip this in any ink or anything. I just wanted to soften the blow of the white, which I think that does enough to really make it blend nicely. I missed the joke. Did you read it, Dale? Glue gets snotty. I call them snotty dots. That's funny. They are kind of like that, though. They are snotty dots. They're kind of, you can tell. It's thicker and it's gross. Here we go. So I'm going to add this onto my card. I'm going to put my little dude on my card. I actually should have done the girl if I was giving it to Dale.
Yeah, what were you thinking?
He doesn't want the boy. He wants the girl. So this won't be Dale's card. This will be somebody else's card.
You do the goth bell.
So I'll make my own Valentine's Day card, and then on Thursday when you guys hang out with Dale, he'll make the other one. He'll make his own. Just kidding. I have some bling that I'm going to put on here, and I don't usually do bling all that much for dudes, but in the end we think this is going to be a girl card anyway. But I have these really, really neat, cute hearts, which I think will be perfect for this card. So I have different sizes. Here's a large, there's a big one, and then there's some smaller ones. Let me see. I think there's a medium one or a tiny one. Oh, tiny ones. Look at how tiny this one is. Really little. I like the medium ones, I think. Here's another teeny tiny one. And there's another teeny tiny one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll put the big one back.
She also says good night.
Good night. I hope you feel better soon. Really, really soon. I'm happy you came tonight. Okay, I'm going to put one of them on this paper right here. One of the bigger ones. Don't worry, this glue dries clear, so you won't be able to see that through it when it dries. And then I'm going to put one down here. I think another big one. And then I'm going to put the little ones on the top, I think. Up here, like one here, one here. And I don't know where I want to put the last one yet. We'll put this one here. Oh, this would have worked for the card Chaos the other day because it was hearts. This would have been perfect for card Chaos. With Irene. If you guys don't watch that, you can look up Irene. She does card Chaos, and I watched it the other night. It was super fun. But it was all about hearts. I wouldn't have made the 15 minutes, but I did make a card with hearts. Oh, you're recovering from COVID. Oh my goodness, we're all sick. I'm sick too. I'm recouping. I'm doing better these days, so I'm very happy about that. But still very congested and still not sleeping well. But other than that, I'm doing fairly good. This is a slippery little sucker. I put too much glue on. But when it dries, it'll be clear and you won't be able to see it. So I don't really mind that much. I just want it to stay in one spot. But that one's doing good. The ones on the slippery paper take just a little bit longer to grab hold. But I can already see it drying. I put too much glue on it though. I'm going to hold it down for a second so it stays. Good night, Phyllis. All right, I'm going to hold this up close so you guys can see it really good. Check this out. Isn't he adorable? Oh, he needs a white gel pen. Hold on. We don't want to forget the white gel pen. Because I want to do a couple of things. So I like to do the eyes with the white gel pen. I love this white gel pen. I think I'm going to add just a teeny bit extra on there. And then I want to do like a little reflection on the little buttons on a shirt. But I don't really want to give him a whole lot more of that. Put a little bit on my Valentine's Day. And now we have heart bling and we have shimmer. Look at the shimmer on that background. Can you see it? Look at that shimmer. That ice shimmer on the background is super cool. And then you open it up and it's a happy Valentine's Day. So you can use these stamp sets for anything that you want. You love purple and yellow. I love the purple too. I like purple and yellow, but I like purple and orange. Of course, that always looks like Halloween. So I have to be careful on the Halloween thing when it's not Halloween. But I do love purple, and at least that shows you different shades of purple versus the purple that I used to use. Yeah, that shimmer, I love that shimmer, Christina. I use that every now and then when I remember that I have it. But yeah, it's from Art Anthology, and I don't use it as much as I should. They have so many different colors, but this one's ice, so it's just a plain shimmer color, and I really like it. It really adds to it, and you see it when you turn it, like in it, you can see it when you turn it in different directions. But I like the background. What do you guys think about using a background, using a stamp for your background? I think it's fun. Wait till we try the roses. So in this set, I'm going to show you this real quick because I think you guys are going to love this. I don't know if I showed you this before. I can't remember. But let me show you how you use these stamps because those people who bought this, they might want to know this. There are 2 stamps in there. One is a solid. It's a solid rose, and one is lines of the rose. So at the bottom of the rose is this pointed part. So that's how I know that's the bottom part of the rose. And then I'm going to put this one on the other side. The bottom is the pointed part, right? So if you take this one and you put it in a colored ink, so let's see, I'm not sure how well you'd see it on this purple, but maybe we'll stamp off once so it's not quite as dark. Oh no, I bet you'll be able to see it on here. Okay, so you stamp the purple. I'll stamp a second one just so you can see. And then it gives you this background, right? The background of the stamp. And then you take the black ink. So I have a black VersaFine Clair as well. You take the black and you do this one with the design on it. You love using stamps for backgrounds? I do too. I really do. I like to get the most out of my money. And then you just line up that point at the bottom on this one. As long as you're really close, it's going to be fine. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. That one's a little hard to see because the rose is so dark. But I did it with red and it was really cool. But look on this one. So I gave you the solid and the pattern so you could stamp them like this. See how cool that is? Then you don't have to color it. And you could cut them out and put them on the card, or you could do them on the background, or you could do whatever you want. So I think these are gorgeous. I love these. So I gave them to you in this one, and you can do the very same thing with the shoe in the other set. So don't forget about those items when you're using your stamp sets, because those extra elements are in there for those reasons, for you to be able to do extra stuff. But I like this a lot, so I hope you guys will use it. But I wanted to make sure you saw it and knew how to use it. So remember, I won't be back until, until Thursday next week.
You won't be back on Tuesday?
No, I'll be back on Tuesday. You're right. So I won't be here on this Thursday, but Dale will be live. He will be making a project with you guys on Thursday. So join Dale so he's not lonely. And then on Tuesday, I'll be back. And we'll go from there. Okay? And I'll be in Arizona. If anybody, lives in Arizona. I'll be in Arizona at the Crazy Creations retreat with my mama, Sita. And I will see you guys when I get back. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. And I will see you on Tuesday. And Dale will see you on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening. Stay safe and warm. Good night.